Hello, welcome to Gurukul's Catch 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Pradyumna Sharma, and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady.
Hello and welcome back to day 100 of our 100 Days to CAT test series. Now, we've gotten 5 good VA questions for you today. In case you want to take this up as a test, all you've got to do is go on to www.thegurukul.org.in and sign up for the 100 Days to CAT test series. Else, you can follow along with this video. This will be your first question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll go for the second question. This is your second question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we're going to go into the third question. This is the third question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we're going to move into the fourth question. Now, this is your fourth question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we're going to move into the last question of the day. This is the last question of the day. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we're going to go into the explanation of all these questions. Now, the first question is a ParaJumble type of a question. Sentence A says, each one personified a different aspect of good fortune. So, my first question is, each one of whom, okay, or each one of which set personified good fortune. The others were versions of popular Buddhist gods, Hindu gods, or Taoist gods. When we say the others were something else, then there should be first category, right? Some other category, right? So this will be first category and then the others category. So where is this first category? None of us know about that yet. So neither of these look like a good starting sentence to me. 7 popular Japanese deities, the Shinchi Fukijin, were considered to bring good luck and happiness. Now, yes, this looks very, very independent. This looks like, it's talking about the 7 deities, 7 gods. So it looks very generic. So maybe so far amongst A, B, and C, this looks like an introduction. D. Although they were included in the Shinto pantheon, only 2 of them, Daikoku and Ebisu, were indigenous Japanese gods. Okay, so although they, who is this they? This they could probably be the 7 popular Japanese deities. Yes. So although they were included in the Shinto pantheon, only 2 of them. So only 2 of whom? Only 2 of these 7. So this makes a lot of sense that C and D are going together. Now, if I take C and D to go together, then obviously I can think that these 2 are indigenous Japanese gods. Then the others were version of Buddhist, Hindu, or Taoist gods. So out of those 7, these 2 were indigenous Japanese, the rest came from somewhere else. So clearly I can go with B next, and then each one personified a different aspect of good fortune. But where do I talk about good fortune? I talk about good fortune, or there's an echo of this good fortune right after C sentence when I'm talking about good luck and happiness. So definitely C, D makes sense, but C, A makes more logical sense because this cannot be a conclusion, right? So we can go for C, A, D, B as our final answer. Now let's go for the second question. Now this question is an odd man out type of a question. The logic of displaying one's inner qualities through outward appearance was based on a distinction between being a woman and being feminine. Now what are we talking about over here? We're talking about how one's inner qualities being displayed through outward appearance, okay, how they look, was all the difference that was there between being a woman and just being feminine. Okay, now B says appearance, okay, became a signifier of conduct. To look was to be, and conformity to the feminine ideal was measured by how well women could use the tools of fashion and beauty industries. Now, just by looking at A and B, I can say that there's some kind of a link, right? I can clearly see that we are talking about, the feminine quality, yes, and how women are trying to show what they are inwards, even by their appearance outwards. Yes, so appearance is becoming a signifier of conduct. This adds on to the, idea that's being given in A. So probably A, B could be one particular pair. Now C says, the makeover-centric media sets out subtly and not so subtly good and bad ways to be a woman, layering these over inequalities of race and class. Okay, now here we talk about the makeover-centric media and what the media is trying to show. D says, the denigration of working class women and women of color often centers on their perceived failure to embody feminine beauty. Okay, here we are again talking about embodying feminine beauty, something that we have seen over here as how well women use these fashion and beauty tools, they become more feminine. Okay, E says woman was considered a biological category, but femininity was a process by which women became specific kinds of women. Okay, so now over here clearly, E looks like the introduction statement out of all of these 5 because it's being very, very generic. It's talking about, you know, how women were considered a category, but femininity, some kind of an attitude, was a process that they had to follow through. So clearly I can say that E would be the starting of my entire narration, okay? Then I can go to A and B, and finally I could go to D. Right, once I understand how feminine beauty was embodied by women or how they can show that they're feminine, then I can talk about the denigration or the, you know, discrimination, insulting towards the working class woman. So the best order would be E, A, B, D, which makes C, R, odd man out. Now let's go to the third question. Third question looks like a para summary type of a question. So the dominant hypothesis in modern science believed that language evolved to allow humans to exchange factual information about the physical world. But an alternative view is that language evolved in modern humans at least to facilitate social bonding. Okay, so one of the prime reasons that people thought language evolved was to exchange factual information, but an alternative view is that language evolved to increase social bonding. It increased our ancestors' chance of survival by enabling them to hunt more successfully or to cooperate more extensively. Language meant that things could be explained and that plans and past experiences could be shared efficiently. Okay, fair enough. Now, this is just a reasoning of what social bonding, you know, hypothesis says, and also he says that, okay, we could cooperate more extensively and we could explain things, we could factually convey things better. A. From the belief that humans invented language to process factual information, scholars now think that language was outcome of need to ensure social cohesion and thus human survival. Now the point is, both of these ideas are spoken by, but the way he says scholars now think language is an outcome, that's not what it is. This is also there, alternatively this is also there. So we are talking about both. We are not saying that one is being rejected and the second one is being accepted now. So A will not be our correct answer. B. Most believe that language originated from a need to articulate facts, but others think that it emerged from the need to promote social cohesion and cooperation, thus enabling human survival. Makes sense. So some people believe this and alternatively other people believe that. So this makes a lot of sense. C. Since its origin, language has been continuously evolving to higher forms. See, only thing that we have seen is language evolved in humans to do something. We've never seen that language has been evolving to higher forms anywhere in this paragraph, right? So obviously this will not be our answer. D. Experts are challenging the narrow view of the origins of language as being merely used to describe facts and label objects to being necessary to promote more complex interactions amongst humans. Again, very, very weirdly put, this is not bringing out the social cohesion part. Now, it's not even saying that there's a narrow view. I mean, look, there's no narrow view, right? There's just two views. No one said that one view is broad and the other one is narrow. That kind of a conception has not come at all. So, obviously, this is too much of a judgmental option, so we can remove this. The best possible answer, my dears, would be B. Now, let's go to the fourth question. The fourth question is a para jumble type of a question again. A says a complex computational elements of the CNS are organized according to a nested hierarchic criterion. The organization is not permanent and can change dynamically from moment to moment as they carry out a computational task. Okay, so here we are talking about, you know, how some elements can be reorganized depending on what task we are doing. Echolocation in bats exemplifies adaptation produced by natural selection. A function not produced by natural selection for its current use is exaptation. Feathers might have originally arisen in the context of selection for insulation. So again, echolocation is showing us adaptation that's been produced by natural selection, and one of the functions that's not produced by natural selection is its current use of exaptation, which means that feathers have not been come out of need to produce insulation. They came for flying, but they're doing this, right? So see, from a structural standpoint, consistent with exaptation. Now, when I'm talking about exaptation here and exaptation over here, I clearly see some kind of an echo amongst the two, right? The living organism is organized as a complex of Russian Matryoshka doll. Smaller structures are contained within the larger ones in the multiple layers. So I'm sure you know about all these Russian dolls. You open one, there's another doll. You open that, there's another smaller doll inside. That kind of a thing, right? So D says the exaptation concept and the Russian doll organization concept in living beings deduce from studies on evolution of various apparatuses in mammals and can be applied for the most complex organ, the central nervous system. So this is one of the easiest para-jumbles that you can come across. Clearly, we're talking about, how echolocation and exaptation is happening in bats. So this is the introduction statement, and then the concept of exaptation has been further elaborated in C, right? So I can clearly come up with BC as an order, and then whatever we are talking about the Russian dolls in C has been again further elaborated or used in D to talk to us about the organization of CNS. So then comes D, and finally what he said is that this all can be applied to this concept can be applied to the central nervous system of the human brain, which has been told how in A. So the correct answer should be B, C, D and A. Now let's go to the last question of today. This is again an odd man out type of a question. So here we see machine learning models are prone to learning human-like biases from the training data that feeds these algorithms. Hate speech detection is a part of the ongoing effort against oppressive and abusive language on social media. Fair enough. The current automatic detection model miss out on something vital, context. Okay, fair enough. It uses complex algorithms to flag racist or violent speech faster and better than human beings alone. Now, if I'm looking at this so far, you know what, let's actually go with E also. For instance, algorithms struggle to determine if group identifiers like gay or black are used in offensive or prejudiced ways because they're trained on imbalanced data sets with unusually high rates of hate speech. Okay, now let's look at where the echo is. Okay, when we're talking about flagging racist or violent speech, okay, there's one problem. Why are these kind of data sets failing? Because the algorithm is struggling to determine if a group is identifying with this kind is an offensive or prejudiced way. Okay, so I can clearly see that D and E have some sort of a connection. And when we're talking about hate speech, over here, when we're looking at hate speech, we're definitely looking at another hate speech detection is as a part over here. Now, one thing I need to see is C the starting or A the starting, because here he says the current automatic detection model misses out on something vital, which is context, right? And here A, he says machine learning models are prone to learning human-like biases from the training data. Now, I can see that these three instances, especially E, is talking to me about the errors in the training data of the algorithms, right? So I can remove the part of context and I'll go for feeding the algorithm with these kind of training data sets, which makes that C is my odd man out. Now, if you watch this video till here, please do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. There'll be more interesting series, news about your IIMs, the placements, everything on one channel. So do not forget to hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next videos.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.